Good morning, dear students. In today's video, you are going to cover the diverse world of sports. But first of all, let's get to know some new sports vocabulary. So please, listen very attentively.
Golf, baseball, climbing, cycling, diving, football, judo, rugby, sailing, skiing, swimming, tennis, basketball, horse riding, ice hockey, ice skating, snowboarding, volleyball, weightlifting, athletics, gymnastics, karate.
Now, when you have learned some new sports vocabulary, let's practice it. So we are going to do the following task. Match the words to each category. Some words can be referred to more than one category. So, by the way, you will find the links to all the tasks below the video in the video description. So, here we've got 6 categories: team sports, individual sports, ball sports, water sports, winter sports, and combat sports. Football. Football is both team sports and ball sports. So first, I'll choose team sports. Be very attentive. One and the same sports activity may refer to 2 different categories. And now let's pass to the next exercise. In this exercise, you have to fill in the gaps with the name of a sport activity in the picture. What is it? I think this is skiing. So I'm typing skiing. And this is how you do this exercise. If you want to play sports, you definitely need some sports equipment. Let's learn some new words. Repeat after me, please. A shuttlecock, a goal, a racket, a net, a golf club, a golf ball, a stick, a puck, a pitch, a rink, skates, a basketball ring, a basketball hoop, a basketball, boxing gloves, goggles, a swimsuit, a yacht, a windsurfing board, a boat. And that's it. And this is what you need to know about sports equipment. Alright, let's practice. In this exercise, you have to choose the correct variant. Only one variant is possible. For example, what equipment do you need to play basketball? And you choose the right variant. Now let's do listening task. You're going to hear 4 conversations about different sports activities. Your task is to put down the name of the sports activity you hear about in the conversation. For example, number 1, football. Number 2, cricket, and so on.
1.
So, what do you need to play?
Just a net and a ball.
And what do you have to do?
Well, basically there are 2 teams and you have to hit the ball over the net.
But do you hit it with a racket?
No, with your hands.
Oh, right. So, how do you win the game?
If the other team can't return the ball and it hits the ground, you win a point. 2. Ouch! This is a really violent sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a boxing match, isn't it? The players spend more time hitting each other than trying to score goals.
I'm cold too. It's freezing here next to the rink.
I know. It's a difficult sport to play, don't you think?
Yeah, you need to be able to skate well, but you need to be strong too. They wear lots of protective clothes, don't they? It must be difficult to move wearing all that stuff.
3.
Did you bring your boots?
Boots? No. I thought we were playing inside.
No. I told you we were playing on the big pitch today.
The big pitch? Oh no. I hate playing on the big pitch. The goal's so big that I never save any goals.
4.
You need to have a really flexible body to do that, don't you?
Yes. And you can't be afraid of heights, can you?
It's amazing that their goggles don't come off when they hit the water.
I love watching it, but you have to be mad to do it, don't you? I mean, jumping 10 metres into a pool. It's dangerous, isn't it?
And now we are ready to do the next listening task. So I know that you guys like basketball, and some of you even take part in the competitions. So I thought that it would be extremely interesting for you to listen about the origin of basketball. Please listen attentively and answer the following questions. Alright, I'm going to read you these questions. Number 1. How long did James Naismith have to invent basketball? Why did Naismith make basketball an indoor sport? What was the problem with the first baskets that they used? How long did the basketball match originally last in total, including the break? After becoming popular in YMCA centers, where did basketball become popular? What were Naismith's main objectives, which means goals? So listen and write down the answers.
Hello and welcome to another program in our series about the origin of different popular sports. Today, our expert, Anna Phillips, is going to tell us about the origin of an incredibly popular sport, basketball. Anna, what can you tell us about the beginnings of basketball?
Well, in comparison with football, rugby or tennis, basketball is quite a modern game because it was only invented in 1891.
Invented?
Yes, the man who invented it was James Naismith. Naismith, who was born in Canada, was working at a YMCA school. He was a PE teacher. His director gave him 14 days to invent a new indoor sport. It needed to be a sport which would keep students fit, but that wouldn't be aggressive or violent. That's why Naismith made basketball a non-contact sport.
So, was this in Canada?
No, Naismith was born in Canada, but he was working in the US in Springfield in Massachusetts, which is really cold in the winter. That's why it had to be an indoor sport.
What did they use for baskets?
They had fruit baskets. Peach baskets. Of course, the problem was that when the ball went into the basket, they needed to stop the match. Somebody came with a ladder, climbed up and got the ball out of the basket. The game stopped for a few minutes after each basket. In fact, it was only in 1906 that they finally changed to the modern nets that we have today.
Has the game changed a lot since its invention in 1891?
Many of today's rules are the same as the original rules which Naismith wrote. There were 13 in total. But in the original rules, you couldn't bounce the ball, you could only pass it. Naismith had 18 students in his class, so originally he had 9 people in each team, not 5 like there are now. His students, who were all boys, used a football at first. Later, they made a special ball for the new sport. Actually, at one moment, somebody wanted to call the sport Naismith ball, but Naismith didn't like the idea.
Oh, How long were matches?
In Naismith's original 13 rules, a match had 2 halves. Each half was 15 minutes long, with a 5-minute break between them. Oh, and you only got 1 point for each basket you scored, not 2 like today. In fact, the final score in the first match was only 1-0.
Well, that doesn't sound very exciting. Nowadays, top teams can score 100 points. So, was basketball immediately popular?
Naismith actually admitted that the first time he explained the new game to his class, they weren't very excited by it. But the game was popular, and it soon became popular with other YMCA centres too. And after that, universities started playing it too. Around that time, they changed the rules to have 5 players in each team.
Did Naismith live to see basketball become one of the most popular sports in the world?
Yes. In 1936, when Naismith was 75 years old, basketball officially became part of the Olympic Games. An organisation collected money so that Naismith could go to Berlin, where the Games took place that year. That was a great moment for Naismith, to see people from countries all over the world playing the sport that he'd invented.
I can imagine.
But the interesting thing is that Naismith wasn't really interested in competition, in winning or being the best. He just wanted to invent a sport that people would enjoy, and above all, one that would help to keep them fit and healthy.
Well, he certainly did that. Thanks for the information, Anna.
I hope that you liked the story about basketball. Now, I'm going to tell you the next story. And this story is about the most important competitions in sport in the world. So please listen very attentively and be ready to answer the questions. It is hard to imagine a person nowadays who doesn't deal with sports. People of different ages and professions do professional or amateur sports because it helps them to keep fit, to prevent diseases, to achieve their goals in their life, to overcome moral and physical difficulties. It develops our body, mind and soul. Those who can't practice any sport often become real fans of their favorite team or sportsman. The world of sport is really great and diverse. There are lots of kinds of sports to choose from: gymnastics, boxing, horse riding, figure skating, cycling, fencing, skiing, and others. A lot of teenagers do martial arts such as karate or aikido. The most important world competitions in sport are the Olympic Games. It is necessary to remember that they started in Olympia in Greece in 776 before Christ. The ancient games were held in honor of Zeus, the most important god for the ancient Greeks. According to the earliest records, only one athletic event was held in the ancient Olympics, a foot race of about 183 meters, all the length of the stadium. The prize for the winner was the olive wreath. Only men were allowed to compete or watch the games. When the powerful Spartans began to compete, they changed the program of the games. The 18th Olympics already included wrestling, pentathlon, chariot races, and other sports. The winners of the games were highly praised and honored for their results. All the wars were stopped for the period of the games. In 394 Anno Domini, the games were officially ended by the Roman Emperor Theodosius, who felt that they had pagan meaning. The idea of International Olympic Games was conceived by a Frenchman, Baron Pierre de Coubertin, who was a good sportsman himself and devoted all his life to the International Olympic movement. The first modern Olympic Games were held in Greece in 1896, with the participation of athletes from 13 countries competing in 9 events. the countries which took part in these games: England, France, Greece, Italy, Russia, Sweden, the USA, and others, agreed that every 4 years the Olympics would move to other great cities of the world. The noble aim of the Olympics movement is to bring nations together, to stop wars and political conflicts. The emblem of the Olympics is 5 interlocking rings on a white flag. The rings symbolize the unity of 5 continents. Blue means Europe, yellow Asia, red America, black Africa, green Australia. The ceremonial flag is left in the host city. Nowadays, there are more than 170 countries participants of the Olympics. Some sports have been recently included into the Olympics, for example, snowboarding, curling, and many others. Beginning in 1926, Winter Olympics were included. They are held 2 years after the Summer Games. Many cities compete to host the Olympics. Our country hosted the Winter Olympics in 2014 in Sochi. The host city for the next Olympics was supposed to be Tokyo, Japan, but the games are postponed due to coronavirus pandemic. Upcoming Winter Olympics will be hosted by Beijing, China, in 2022. Now, when you know almost everything about the Olympic Games, let's do the exercise. In this exercise, you'll have to fill in the gaps to complete the sentences. For example, the Olympic Games started in, and here you put down the year when the Olympic Games started. And so you do this exercise like this. I hope that you guys have learned lots of exciting things about sports today. So please, don't forget to do the tasks. The links you will find below the video in the description. And don't forget to do the listening task in writing and send to your teacher. Have a very nice day and thank you for the attention.